All right, guys. Nolan Walker here again. Nolan Walker with HVAC Webmasters, Plumbing Webmasters, Roofing Webmasters, Data Pens. Gonna answer a few more questions. Anybody got questions? Business questions? Entrepreneurial questions? How to get started? What to do? Any of that good stuff? Anybody got a question? Happy to answer. Any questions? Any questions for me? I'm Nolan Walker, been doing business a long time. If you got questions, I'm happy to answer them. I am at work in the middle of the day, taking a little time to do it live. Been in business for eons. Any questions? My name is Nolan Walker. If you're joining, I'm a business guy, entrepreneur. Been in business for many, many years, successful businesses. I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm the owner of HVAC Webmasters, Plumbing Webmasters, Roofing Webmasters, Data Pens, do a little bit of real estate. I think I'm a pretty hardcore entrepreneur. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. Any questions at all? Any questions? All right, guys. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Okay. I think I answered this question last time, but I'll answer it again. Yeah, red flags. Most digital marketing agencies are out there to take your money. It doesn't matter if it's somebody selling Facebook ads or Google stuff. You've got to be careful, obviously, with what you're doing. We've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm not here necessarily to sell you our services, but I'm happy to answer questions about it. We work with roofing webmasters, roofers, plumbers, HVAC, roofing webmasters, plumbing webmasters, HVAC webmasters, Data Pens map ranking app. But yeah, try to do your due diligence on a company. It can be hard to tell because someone's got their curated effort through social media. But you might want to go check them out on Google and just do a really thorough check. I also wouldn't pay a bunch of money down or sign a term agreement. A lot of people, once you're tied in, they make a ton of money tying you down for 6 months. I see people tied down for a year, and it's just kind of a shame. So if you got that, be careful. But yeah, questions or comments on really how to get started if you've got problems in your own business, that sort of thing. If you've got marketing questions, if you're in contracting, you got a lot of knowledge around that space, dreams, hopes, how to do this stuff. I'm happy to answer questions about that stuff as well. Middle of the day right now, if we have anybody out there that is roofer, plumber, HVAC, or even a kid starting out, I'm happy to answer questions for you guys and see if I can have any valuable insight. I've been working for so long, it feels like, but I enjoy it. And you're going to work no matter what in your lifetime. You're going to work. Most of you guys are going to work, and it's worth it to try businesses. Everybody was a business person at some point. We were all on farms, and I think over 90% of us were business from that standpoint. And most people go work for someone else nowadays. I feel like there's less entrepreneurs than there used to be. Still a lot of people trying it, but it feels like less. It used to be a very revered thing. People want to become their own business person, do their own thing. I think you can do that to some degree if you have a profession, went to school, but you still ended up having to work for yourself. Even people will become a roofer, a plumber, HVAC, or a doctor, lawyer, or psychologist, or chiropractor, and you're a business person. Man, you're going to have to understand marketing and understand how to get people your way. All these awesome tools now to do this, and people misuse them, don't use them, wish they didn't have to use them. So you are going to want to you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to show up. You're going to want to market yourself. It's the most important thing. Marketing first, and then you're going to want to market to a lead to a sale. Any questions for me, guys? I'm going to come on every day for a while. Plan on it. I had a pretty rough day yesterday, a good day though. You know, when you're an entrepreneur, I will tell you, yesterday I was busy. Worked past 5. I didn't run out of here. Worked past 5, you know, and it was a great day. We had a lot of content that got out, dealt with a lot of customers, got a new client here at our company. So I mean, yesterday I had little better. I was popping yesterday, and today I'm up here. It's a good day still. It's just yesterday was so busy. It was Monday, but I'm coming on here every day, no matter what. I don't care. I'm going to come in here. If you're in business for yourself, you're working. This self-discipline. Nobody tells me what to do, and I don't like being told what to do. I'd rather work harder by myself than to have anybody tell me what to do and run out of here at 5 o'clock. Leads are the paramount, man. The main thing, right? It is the thing. So you do whatever you have to do. It depends on the business to get a lead. I'd have to know a little bit more, but you're going to put yourself out there marketing somehow. You're going to put yourself out there in market to get a lead, to get a sale. And you're going to have some faith that this is going to work to get that lead, to get the sale. You've got to have faith. It might take you a year before you do it. People give up after a week. So most people just give up too quick. You'll get leads. You start on somewhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And if you're younger, if you're older, you're going to have a service business. Almost all that money's still coming through Google, Bing, ChatGPT, AI, integrated search. And then people just limp up a website and a Google business profile. They don't do anything hardly. They barely show up. They make a little bit of money, and they should have gone all in on digital branded signaling for your business. It's crazy not to do it. Get leads that way. And otherwise, you're going to be buying leads. Otherwise, you're going to have to buy leads. You can get leads organically through so many things now. Organically meaning you don't have to pay for everything. You might get somebody like roofing, plumbing, HVAC, webmasters, and DataPens to help you. But they're so much cheaper than paying for every lead from Home Advisor, Angie, Yelp, Thumbtack, that kind of thing. I don't hate on any of that, or paid ads on Google, but it's expensive, and you could fight for your own brand to get up, and then phones will ring for you. Working with another company, but I'm not seeing any growth. What are we missing? I mean, most of the time, people are charlatans, thieves, cheats that you work with. Most of the time. A lot of times the client's wrong. They're not doing a good job. But if you don't have somebody with skill sets and resources, you won't show up anyway, regardless of what the salespeople are telling you, regardless of this sort of thing. So you're going to want to fight to get your digital branded signaling out there. It's possible, it's probable that the company you work with does not have enough skill sets, resources to help you get up in ranking. It's also possible that you're not doing anything on your end. If we have a client that shows up and they don't use DataPens and they're not trying to help themselves at all, you're a digital brand. So if you've just thrown money at somebody and you do nothing, which is what most people do, then a lot of that pointing the finger, you got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. You're hurting yourself too. So nothing wrong with paying somebody to do stuff. Usually they're not doing enough. Usually the business is not doing enough either. There are things you can do. We make it easy with some tools like DataPens, but you should have a little social media account on the side. Somebody's trying to help you get up in ranking on Google, organic map rankings, reputation reviews, all that. So it's also possible that you're just brand spanking new. So if you're brand new and then you also not doing anything, so you have very few signals, you don't have experience, expertise, authority, and trust, you want to have some sort of experience, something with Google going. So you want to have Google saying, hey, we like this person, but if you just put up a website, You bought into the sales routine. You're not doing anything. You don't get reviews. You don't do data pins. You don't have any other social media going. You should be working at something that gets us for your brand to Google, and then you'll begin to move forward. You also don't want to give up. So let's say you just started. You don't want to give up. I have people all the time. They started their business in 3 months. They already quit. They gave up. And there's this massive amount of business that can occur if you show up in search rankings, if you have social media outreach and you have things going. Massive amount of business. It is your whole business. So don't give up. Participate on your end. Don't spin a negative narrative. If you just started, if you're going and it's been months on end and nothing's happening, you do need to change something. You need to talk to somebody. A lot of times too, business owners spend no money, none. And let's say you're in Dallas, Texas, where we live. I'm in Fort Worth. But you don't spend enough money and you don't spend any money. You're paying somebody $200 a month or something for a lead position that would literally make millions for you per year. There are people fighting for that. And so if you've limped in with a really horrible effort and you're not trying anything. Now, I will say this, I would limp in with a horrible effort and start signals of experience, expertise, authority, and trust with Google, Bing, ChatGPT, AI search. I would limp in and I would keep going with faith. I would not take that down. So question was, I've been working with another company, but I'm not seeing any growth. What are we missing? First off, if it's been months, don't give up on it. Do not pull down the GBP. Do not pull down the .com. You have started an effort. It may have been too poor to get results, but it has established a foundation that you can work from at that point. So if you're a roofer, if you're a plumber, if you're HVAC, you've started, you're not getting results, you have to buy leads, you're working for another company, you're doing home service warranty work. Keep your brand going because eventually that signaling will get there, and don't give up on it or hobble it. But if you hobbled it and you didn't pay good attention to it, it's still there. And now you've got a better foothold. I just talked to a client today that had 27 reviews. I think they're a plumber, and they weren't seeing results, but they're getting a little bit. Maybe it's 27 reviews, but that's not a lot nowadays, right? They've been going for about a year and a half, but man, they've got experience, expertise, authority, and trust. I talked to this guy a year and a half ago. And so now they got the chance to show up. They've put in some dues. Doesn't mean you wouldn't get results for a year and a half, by the way. You can get it going much quicker than that, but a lot of things have to work. So you've got to get a good company, got to get good signaling out there. You got to participate on your side, and you've got to be reasonable. In the meantime, you need a lead today. There's no shame in buying a lead from somebody or paying for a click. It's just difficult to monetize that. The ROI can be rough. It can be rough. So do whatever you have to do to stay in business and work on that brand signaling, and you'll eventually get dominant in the marketplace. I don't know what you're missing entirely, but those are some things to consider. Don't give up either. A little bit of faith involved, and a little bit, if you're listening to me, you're already better off than you were. Any questions from anybody out there? Happy to answer questions. Happy to answer questions. I'm Nolan Walker. I'm the owner of HVAC Webmasters, Plumbing Webmasters, Roofing Webmasters, Data Pins, a little bit of real estate. Been in business for a long time, and legitimate guy to ask questions of. I can answer questions for you. And if you got questions, I'm happy to answer them. I can answer just about anything you want to, by the way. I'm telling you, it is hard to get questions answered by a guy like me online. Nothing here right now to sell you. I'm always selling something. And if you ever hear knowledge online, somebody's going to have to sell something to make money. We're in a capitalist society. But this is pretty easy, good content for them, and I'm a pretty direct individual. Can you use my old website, or do I need a new one? I mean, you always need a new website. Your old website, somebody sold you on that one, that's part of your problem, by the way. So yeah, you're always going to need a better website. If you're in a competitive market and needing to show, and every market's competitive, otherwise you're already up in a ranking. You didn't ask me that question in the first place, right? You're already showing up. Got an old website, it's probably done poorly. Probably needs to be done well. You got to be careful that you get somebody good to do it. But yeah, you're going to want to have your website redone. Absolutely. And you're going to want to work on it. It's part of your digital brand. It's part of the score that you get with Google. Google's going to grade you upon that. You can't have a bad website and expect to show up in ranking. And if your website isn't representative of all your keywords, you won't show up in ranking. You'll need to be able to have that so that they'll show you in the map pack in the first place. They'll show you in organic keyword ranking in the first place. If they don't know you do something, they won't show you. If you don't have a page to show somebody that's quality, they won't show you. They're not going to show you if you don't have representation. And representation's got to be good and correct, meaning page of trash of AI content is not good representation of the product. I'm going to create a good user experience. Yeah, biggest business regret, man. There's some of them, right? I would say just, work on the business and in the business all the time. Always fighting. Everybody, society tells you, all these Instagram accounts and YouTube accounts tell you, work on your business, not in your business. Any successful business person you can think of is hustling and working. Do they do different things as time goes on? Absolutely. Even a plumber, roofer, HVAC is going to plumber, roofer, HVAC owner is going to do different things in their business, but they're going to work in their business and they're going to work on their business. I work in and on my business today. It's different than 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, but I work on it. I matriculate to the top of the best things. What's the best thing, the most important thing? I'm the champion of my company's brand, of my personal brand and marketing. And then I manage. So I don't make websites and write content and do other things and work on Google business profiles. Other people do that. But make no mistake, you're going to work in your business. And the harder you work in your business and on your business, the better off you're going to be. So work on it and don't skirt the details. Don't leave the details that are important. You're going to need to work that. In fact, the more you commit to the things that you know you should be doing but don't want to do, the quicker and better your business will do. It's opposite what they tell you. Manage people, whatever. You're going to work. And the better you work, the more you work with your clients and on your business and in your business in all aspects, it'll just change as it goes. I'll tell you something else you should worry about when you're younger. Don't have a goal, set it and make good profits and keep that overhead low. People expand and gobble up profits and don't gobble up expenses, don't make a profit, and they don't invest. So invest and do that stuff earlier. Don't let it be a road to nowhere that's ever expanding, because it'll increase expenses and your profits go away. So always watch that and then stay involved. Stay involved all the time. Stay involved with joy and love for the client. Help and service for the client, always. So you do that, even though you're tired, it's a better day. You make more money, invest that money and have a lifestyle. Number one thing, what is the number one thing you think we should know that they don't teach us in school? Oh God, that's a heck of a question. What do they teach you in school? What do they teach you? None of this stuff, right? None of this stuff. I don't know where to start with that, man. As far as what you can do, it's great to be your own boss, to have a business. I would stay creative. I would I would not try to think like other people told me to think. I would have my own narrative in my head, my own life, all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to see anybody just getting a job only and not trying. If you have an idea and you think you might want to try something, you should go try that. You should go do that. You should take some chances. You should fail. You should risk a little bit, a lot. I don't know. Keep a roof over your head. Fight, try, risk, start something. I think people get disillusioned, mad, upset with society because they were just doing what they were told. Don't do what you're told all the time. Follow the laws, break the rules, take chances, fight for something. All those things are important for you in life. What do you recommend for an annual marketing budget? I mean, that's an interesting one. People say to spend 10%. Nobody does. Nobody does. If you're making money, they don't. Most people spend nothing. I talk to people all the time. I feel like most people villainize marketers. Most business owners don't market hardly enough or at all, and then they don't spend enough on it. I don't know that it should be 10% or any set budget, but if you own a roofing company, plumbing company, HVAC company, and you're not spending a few grand, 2 or 3, $4 grand a month, you're messing up. There's a massive amount of people in your metroplex, usually millions for our client base, 500,000 and up. And then you limp in spending $300, $500, $1,000, and then you look up and say, "Woe is me! Why don't I show up in ranking or compete in the marketplace?" And is it worth it? Of course, it's worth it. Everybody that you idolize as a peer in your marketplace shows up high in ranking and Google Pack 3 and organic keyword ranking. They have a little bit Google, Bing. They show up on ChatGPT. They have a little bit of social media. They have trucks on the road, and you wonder how they got there. They care. And they're not entirely negative, and they put a little bit towards it. How I got started. I mean, I've said before, I wanted to be an entrepreneur as a child in 5th grade. I had to walk across stage and say that, but I don't know. Once I actually became an entrepreneur, did I really want to be one? I don't know. It's tough, man. I pined for going to college and someone paying me big money, Nolan Walker, we want you over at the company here. Come here and we're going to pay you big money, and you dream about that. It's like, oh, how can I get a job to pay me $500,000? Back then, I don't remember what it was. That would have been a lot of money, a couple $100,000, $250,000. How do people get those jobs? Somebody making $750,000. I mean, you need a lot of money, and there's really not jobs like that around. Nobody's going to come save you, So as an entrepreneur, I wanted to be one, but your brain is always trying to retreat. What could I have done not to have done this in life, right? The truth is there's not that thing for most of us. And if you had it, you're always in danger. I'd rather be an entrepreneur and do my own thing. So I think you're an entrepreneur a lot of times when you don't have options. Nowadays, I think kids can start up and do stuff on social media that's different. I know they can. So there's some options that aren't as rough as when we had to pick up a lawnmower and go fight and work one step at a time. So there's some other things that somebody can do, but it's usually rough enough that most people don't continue. Hang on just a second. So most of the things are too hard for people. They don't continue. So when I started, I kind of had to. It was urgency. I didn't have anything else to do. I was in a situation when I was younger that I didn't get paid to go through college and school. So I didn't have the option. And so when the options are pulled away and you have to have some urgency, I'll tell you that's when you normally really hit it. It's like I either do this or I go work here. There's no shame in working somewhere. I work for some people too, and I work for my family. But I'm telling you that it's not always that easy for an entrepreneur, and they start because it's tough. They start because they don't have other options, right? So it's not always easy to do, but it's worth doing it. You should try to be an entrepreneur. You should try something. And even if you work for somebody else, you don't have to worry about it or get bitter about other people that do stuff. She's like, I tried it. I know I tried it and gave my best. And if you try over and over again, I told people before, I've had hundreds of things I've tried in business. I'm doing something right now that I haven't done before. I've had hundreds of things not make it. I'm committed to this. So I'm like, no way in hell I'm stopping. I told y'all earlier, if anybody's listening on another one, I had a bit of a rough day yesterday. It was a hard Monday, but I'm in here today and I'm fighting. I said, I'll do an hour. By God, I'll do my hour today on lives, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's something I'm doing, but I've tried hundreds of things that didn't work. I've had dozens of businesses that didn't work, and it only took about 5 businesses that worked to live a charmed life. And I've done things that most people only dream of doing: vacationing, living in exotic places, having options and time. And I'm in here working today. I'm not laid up. I'm not playing golf. I'm not on the sofa. I'm in a self-disciplined state and I'm working. How do you deal with burnout? I love the burnout question. Thank you for asking me that, as I'm in here on a Tuesday at 2:56 p.m. in Fort Worth, Texas. And I love being here working. It's a privilege. But I did burn out one time. I burned out one time. I worked extremely hard from, let's say, about 17 to 27. And I stopped and I went to community college. I was paying my way through it. I thought I had a lot of money saved up. You'll see business people do this all the time and take a break. You'll see YouTubers do this all the time. Got to pay that rent, right? How long do they stay off of YouTube? A year, 6 months, and then they got to pay that rent. So yeah, you get a little bit of money when you're younger and you're like, oh, I'm rich. I'm going to take a break. I'm burned out. I took that break when I was 28 years old and I burned out. And the truth is, and I hope, this doesn't depress you or anything, but I get burned out all the time. And I don't know if there's such thing. We all get burned out. We're human. Nobody wants to move on forever doing stuff, but it's part of it. I think for me now, I have great joy in being of service. I love helping people. I love all people. I want to help people. So I'll come on and answer questions. And right now I'm really enjoying that. So I experience burnout. I don't care. I don't burn out. I don't go down. I'll have periods where I do that. I just don't stop. Most people burn out. Everyone's going to burn out eventually. You don't stop. You don't shut your business down. You don't shut it all down. You just don't. You take a break, you pick yourself up and you start again. And you realize that that's just part of life. And I think when I explain this stuff sometimes, I appreciate that question. When I explain this stuff sometimes, I think it comes off negative, but what you have to understand, and I know whether you're my age or younger, and we all know that life's kind of right. Gideon be like that, right? I agree. So life's hard anyway. So life's fabulous though. Life is fabulous and we all like living it and we all enjoy being here. So we're all glad to be here. It's like winning the lottery, right? We're all glad to be here. But it's tough too. But it's tougher when you don't fight for your dreams and push forward and persevere. And then people internalize things improperly, think about the wrong things, get mad at other people when they don't do these things. So I want you guys to try stuff. There's no shame in paying the bills and working for somebody, but don't get upset about it and don't leave them on the table because you'll get bitter. So try these things. The more stuff you try, you don't ever hear older people, and I'm getting older, but I'm 51 now. You don't ever hear people saying, I'm upset because I tried stuff. Now, there's a couple things I can think about here and there that I'm still embarrassed about that I did in business, but not that much. As more time passes, I tried stuff. Some things are embarrassing, some things aren't. Some things are good, some things are bad, but I have ideas. I try them. I try to push forward. And the truth is, the best I can be and participate all the time in everything that I know I should be doing is the best I can be in business, best I am as a human, as a person. It's not all going to work all the time, but if you try, because so few people try all the way, it's very helpful and eventually you're going to succeed in something. And I can't remember that guy's name. Is it Gideon? But yeah, he quit and deleted a channel and then showed back up. I follow some of these guys because my kids follow them and I'm into some of these accounts. You wouldn't think I would be at my age because I'm interested in marketing, and I went to VidCon with my kids and it was great watching everybody at VidCon, this 60,000 people, kids coming up, trying to be entrepreneurs, all this new opportunity, by the way, all this new opportunity. And there's a lot of negativity you could go after out there, but man, there's a lot of new stuff and business opportunity in America, social media, YouTube, stuff like we're doing now. It's fabulous. And I like it. I can meld this into the old school stuff on service business, like a digital marketing agency, a little piece of software or a contractor. And that melded into that, you don't even have to make AdSense money. The guy we're talking about, he's just huge and he made AdSense money, like millions. But then you go, oh, I want to quit. And then you're like, oops, I'm back. And so, yeah, try not to burn out. How do you deal with people who aren't happy with the service you provide? Most people that understand marketing are happy with the service we provide. Only time I ever run into problems is when people grossly misunderstand marketing. I mean, grossly misunderstand it. But that's one of the reasons we stay in contact with our clients. We really try to mentor them on the mindset. The average individual, the average business owner too, you think they're just like me and you. They're working one step at a time. But if somebody owns a roofing business, plumbing business, HVAC business, they still need help with their mentality on marketing and understanding what's going on, because there's so much propaganda and misinformation that people don't understand what they need to be doing. You're a digital brand. your person, your business, both of them combined. The content gets digested by algorithms, whether it's Google or social media, and it all interlaces together into a brand and coalesce into marketing to a lead to a sale. And people don't understand it. So it's normally just misunderstanding. And normally people don't pay to align with someone like this. We're a professional service, hardcore, and we help people. And but the average business owner needs help to keep themselves on track. It's good to listen to people like me, because this is the biggest problem that people have, is literally like, are they going to be able to keep their head screwed on straight and move towards marketing and keep their brand healthy so that the phone will ring every day, or they get jobs or service, whatever they're doing. That is probably the toughest thing day in, day out, that someone realizes that they're a marketing brand for themselves. They're championing their brand all the time. And so we help people do that. People that understand that stay. People that they get jumpy, or they're brand new in business and the brand isn't strong enough. And that does happen, though. It does happen. Hopefully, you hope it doesn't happen, but you need to. Any contractors out there got a question for me, by the way? If you got any questions, and again, other stuff too. Anything from anybody wanting to start anything. Yeah, I am available for privates. Something new that I'm doing that I've gone into. Yes, we do private consultations, private coaching. Anybody's a client of ours, which I'm not necessarily, I'll answer any questions you got, but anybody that's a client of roofing, plumbing, HVAC, webmasters, or data pens, they're going to have some consultation done, very high end, to make sure they stay on track, keep them out of the weeds with bull crap and charlatans and thieves that they run into, that are popping up on their Instagram and YouTube and stuff that aren't real, or that trying to take money or send them down a bad road. We help with that. There's not, Google Organics not the only thing. We consult for other stuff too, and help people get leads in a myriad of ways. But most things will take your money, ruffle an ROI. You got to watch it. Keep you want to get your branded signaling out there and make the phone ring. Can't break the bank or have a poor rate of return on investment. Other questions, guys? Anybody have a question that's out there for me? Anybody got any questions about my agency? I'll answer a little bit about that. Got a question about your own business? Got a question about what it takes, or if you're having trouble or thinking about starting something? Let me know if the nature of the business or the type of business, please. If you've got a business out there, just so I understand where you're coming from. And I'll let you know if I don't have any information about it. Consistency, that's up to you, man. Self-motivation, fear. I don't think you should stay in a state of fear, but if you make money too, ignore that money. Make money, ignore it. Have a narrative in your head for how you want your life to be, to motivate you. Daily affirmation, title it I am, read it once or twice a day, and a narrative of everything you want as you want it in your head. And think about it as though it's already occurred, and experience emotion and joy that it's already occurred, and be grateful and give thanks, and then have faith. That'll help you with your consistency. But if you're the type of person to stop when you get your initial needs met, you'll have a hard time experiencing greatness in business. All right, guys. Any other questions? I've got a little bit more time here. If anybody has questions, ask the questions. I'll answer just about anything within reason. Any serious questions? I'm happy to answer stuff. Anybody got any questions? Okay, so yeah, I'm about to do one podcast on contractor stuff, but someone that's been at the top of their game for a long time. And he's dominating. So somebody in your city area is dominating. Google calls, if we're talking Google, Bing, organic search, stuff like that, you see his trucks around town, but this probably is the guy that you see in Pack3 map ranking. For one thing, he puts himself out there. Google's measuring his signals of experience, expertise, authority, and trust. That's the new version of SEO, or search engine optimization. So he's been around and he sends signals and he continues to do so in some way. Now, I can tell you how to beat the hell out of them. More signals of experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Most of the old dogs, even though they probably say yes more than the guys that say no, and most people just don't do anything. So get your business Google profile set up, get reviews, get signals, get data pins, datapins.com, DATAPINS.com if you want to check it out. It's unbelievable signaling and page creation that you can send additional signals without cheating to Google. So that is what you're trying to do, is signals out. Most people put up a cheap website and get reviews, or get a cheap website, spam that cheap website and get reviews. Both don't help the Google searcher have a good experience, besides maybe the reviews. But you want to have a great website and a variety of digital brand signaling for your brand, and then you'll begin to beat these guys out. Most of them are older dogs, and if you'll get better digital brand signaling over time, you'll begin to beat them. They're on their way out. They're making money. They've been around for years. Some of these guys are consistent like me and will continue to whoop you. If you got a guy like me in your market, I'm coming for you all the time. So you're going to want to fight, though, for your rankings. You're going to want to fight for your company. I fight for my rankings. I fight for my business. You fight for your family. I fight for Team Walker, and I come fighting hard for that. So you're going to want somebody to help you with it, but you need to fight yourself and say, hey, I'm going to send digital brand signaling daily to Google. A lot of people just put up a website and a Google business profile, roll over. They don't have anything that day. They go play a round of golf, binge watch Netflix. I mean, I know people do this stuff. You need to think about how you can send a signal to Google regularly and expand beyond that. We consult for this too, by the way. It depends on how difficult that market is. I mean, like I said, if you're in Dallas, Texas, and you can get dozens of calls per day, people fight for that, but it can still be won and had. We help people with that all the time. I had a roofer that we had in Atlanta, Georgia, go from almost no calls organically to 25 to 30 a day, metro area of 5 million with no storm. He makes millions. And so you can't just limp in and try to do nothing. Part of listening to stuff like this is helpful, very, very helpful. But yeah, you can beat him. We can absolutely help you beat guys like that all day long. That's what we do. And part of it literally is to dial your brain in. I am more into that than I ever have been before. I keep the business owner. We're peers. I'm a business owner. I get along fabulously with my clients. And I help you keep your brain straight so that you can get in there and fight. Most people don't think about it. It is the one thing. I've had I like chiropractors. So some chiropractors are like T1, T2 vertebra specialists. That's all they care about. And the rest of the spine will align. If you've ever heard that analogy, it's an odd one, but I'm the same way about sales. There's a lot of other stuff you got to do: service and profits and overhead, taxes and legal. None of the rest of it. Everything else is almost handled because of the one thing. You market to a lead to a sale. You get sales. That's revenue. That's resources, human resources, and service and procedures and taxes and legal. It all comes from the one thing. You get that under control, and you'll have a successful business. I'm about to do a podcast about the guy that starts up. We've got people that are famous families in America that people look at as royalty that were kind of sleazy in business. And I'm not condoning or suggesting it, but what I'm telling you is that the guy that you love to hate in your market, that beats you upside one side, down the other on marketing, that plumber, that roofer, that HVAC, that beats the heck out of you, and he's a sales guy and you hate him, and he's not the greatest guy in the world, but he's showing up and dogging it, and you're a better business person than he is. But he dogs it in sales, but he's not the most reputable guy in the world. He becomes more reputable, and he provides better service eventually, and he becomes the best business overall because he started with the marketing, and that was the most important thing. And you all know somebody like this in your market. That guy eventually comes clean, but he gets up in ranking because he gets marketing right. phone rings, makes money, and that money becomes the resources for the best business in your town and the best service in your town. He'll eventually beat your service too, because he's got the resources to get the service, to hire the human resources and have the procedures and have the tools of the trade to beat you at it. And it'll come from marketing, and everything else will be fixed. Even that guy will become the best business person. I didn't start out as that guy, as service first. I do HVAC webmasters, plumbing webmasters, HVAC webmasters. I'm sorry, roofing webmasters, roofing, plumbing, HVAC webmasters, and data pins, DATAPINS. I have a little bit of real estate. I've had a lot of businesses before that. I had a home security company that was very large at the time. We did 23,000 alarm system sales and installs. Before that, I grew up in a flooring store family, and I painted curb numbers and mowed lawns forever. And I've done a lot of other stuff that I tried. But right now, for years, I've had the digital marketing agencies. I like working with contractors and doing that kind of stuff. What kind of business do you have? Anybody out there in contracting or interested in marketing, entrepreneurial stuff? So Nolan Walker persona is part of my brand too now. I'll argue that as well. And so, yeah, that's something new in society. We all feel that, our own personal brand. So Nolan, Nolen Walker, is a business I own, a brand, personal brand. Digital marketing agencies, a little software company, a little bit of real estate. Guys, any other questions for me? Happy to answer questions. Not to toot my own horn, I just think I'm a unique individual to answer these questions. I think most time when somebody's up on social media doing coaching and influencing, the business that was successful was the coaching and influencing. The ones they had were not. The businesses I've had have been successful on multiple other fronts, and now I'm up here as a long tenured business guy, and I'll answer questions for you with a lot of experience. Won't give you legal advice, but I'll answer questions, quite a few. And if I don't know it, I just won't answer. I don't know it. Somebody asked me about eBay the other day. I don't know about eBay. Although I like the fact that they're trying businesses. I'm not an e-commerce guy. Any other questions? Anyone? Ask me some questions, and I'll try to answer these questions. Anybody got a question? Like and subscribe, guys, and you'll get notified, of lives. I'm going to do my best to do an hour's worth 6 days a week. Hours worth of live 6 days a week. We also do podcasts, shorts. Find us on multiple brands, multiple stuff. This is my Nolan Walker stuff. Again, HVAC webmasters, roofing webmasters, plumbing webmasters, and data pins, a map ranking app. You can find me doing different stuff there. If you're interested in some training on marketing and stuff, I do a lot on those contractor spaces. I love working with those guys. Done that for 15 years, owned software for 5 years, owned another business for 15 years before that. And as a child, I did, like I said, lawn care till I couldn't stand it anymore. Any other questions for me? I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I'm approaching total of about an hour of stuff. This one's about 40 something minutes in. If you got a question, I'll answer them. I'll do my best to. Questions about best life, what to do, work for yourself, work for somebody else, questions about a business you already have or one that you're going to get going. I'm happy to answer that one as well. Other questions, guys? Other questions? Nolan Walker here, happy to answer your questions. Anybody have questions for me? Old school business guy. Plan on working till I can't work anymore. I didn't used to think that way, but I do now. I plan on working till I can't work anymore. I don't like not working. The nature of work will change as I go, but I don't like feeling unplugged. I've unplugged a little bit here and there. I don't like not being relevant and with everything going on. So I'll work until I can't work anymore. I know in some fashion I will. So I plan on keeping going. If I gave my younger self one piece of advice, live the day. Live the day, experience the full future that you want. So as though it already happened. And that stuff will manifest around the great day that you're already living. Don't live on a linear time frame to a destination at the end of the road. People at the end of the road are not happy if they fought for a destination. We fought to go into live in an island somewhere, and we had for about 4 years of my life. And I realized that people that reach those destinations, once they achieve and they're there, they're slightly disillusioned. Life isn't full enough. I want to retire on an island somewhere, even though it seems like a good idea. You want to live a rich, full life day to day. You want to stay plugged into society and people that are working as much as you can. So I will tell you that, yeah, I would work and live that day. I'll give you some examples. People, you can still buy a house. Yeah, that maybe it is more expensive compared to what it was like in the 80s on payroll and taxes and how much all that kind of stuff. But you can still do something. Fight, get something, get a home, make it a nice yard, make a nice home. Embellish that house to where it feels like a vacation while you're there. You don't have to have a really expensive home to do that. Trees, nice home, well done. People don't do that anymore. They live for the vacation, not the house they're in. So fix up what you got, work on what you got, enjoy the day, involve with your community, help people around you, get involved in the community and your business, whatever you're doing, and live that day. I'd give myself that advice. I'd also invest young, and I'd fight for something big, but I wouldn't go too crazy. Tend to do that myself, and I think a lot of business people just kind of fight and keep going. There should be destination of where you're like, okay, I'm here and I'm going to keep this going and integrate. Any other questions about stuff? I'm going to give it about 60 seconds here. I'll answer one more question if anybody has one. I've got a couple things to do. My phone keeps ringing here. My phone keeps going. Guys, any questions? One more time. One more time. Anybody? 30 seconds, and I'll spend time to answer a question, but I've got a 3:20 here, and I've got some business to tend to of all these businesses I have. Any other questions, though? Guys, anyone? I'd love to help you. Please come back again next time. I love all of you, want to help you. And if you got any questions, I'll be here for you. If anybody ever wants to do business with us, your contractor, you know where to find us, HVAC, Plumbing, Roofing, Webmasters, any of those three, Data Pins. If you want to come back and ask general questions, you don't want to do business with us, I'm so grateful to speak with you. I'm looking forward to having you as a peer entrepreneur, and I wish you well with everything. You're very welcome. Thank y'all for all the questions, and we'll see you next time around.